In the last lecture, we added our own recipe, spaghetti, and we recognized that the image preview is not working. Well, that makes sense because if we have a look at the recipe edit component, here where we try to preview the image, we're not binding the source. We should do this. I'll add a local reference named image path to that input because I want to get access to that input inside of this template. And then I'll bind the source here to that local reference, so to image path value, because that is exactly what I want to display here. With that, if we now create a new recipe and paste in our old link, now we immediately get a preview of this image. So now this is working as expected, and now if I add my spaghetti recipe, very tasteful, with my new ingredient, spaghetti, 100, and some tomatoes, 3. And if I hit save now, here it is. Now we can see it. Now we can edit it. Multiple exclamation marks make it more meaningful. We can send it to the shopping list to find our spaghetti and tomatoes there. Well, we already have tomatoes here, so we can delete these here, I guess. And we lost it. Where are our spaghettis? If I go back to recipes, spaghettis are gone. So that seems to be another bug we need to fix. The bug we recognized in the last lecture is a pretty mean one. If we add a new recipe here, we hit save, and we go to shopping list and go back, you see it's lost, it's gone. Again, test, test, and gone. So what's happening here? The issue we encounter here is that we provide our recipe service in the recipes component. So all the components in this area share the same instance. But if we navigate away to the shopping list area, the recipes component is destroyed, and so is the instance of this service. So what we need to do to ensure that our service survives is we need to add it to our app module here. By adding it here, recipe service, and adding the import to, we make sure that now we have one instance of the service all the time available as long as our app is running. So now if we add the spaghetti one more time with our beautiful image, very tasty as mentioned before, and I hit save, now if I come back, it's still there. And as you can see, I can still edit it. So this is now working. Now we can try putting it to the shopping list, which of course doesn't add. We first of all have to add some ingredients like spaghetti. But now this is working as expected. Well, almost. With the remaining bug that here, once we click this X button, we're not deleting the ingredient. So that is something we should also have a look at. We're almost done fixing bugs. Our recipe service is now working as expected. If we switch back and forth, the spaghetti are there. But now, if we go back to recipe edit component, this delete button, this X here, is not working. First of all, it's even submitting our form, and we definitely don't want that. So we should set the type to button. Then I'll also add a click listener and say on delete ingredient. And here, of course, I should pass the information which ingredient should get deleted. So I should pass the index I, which is simply the index of the control we want to remove. With that, we can implement the onDelete ingredient method in our TypeScript file here. And I know that I will receive the index here, number. Now with that, I can get access to my recipe form to call the get method and get access to my ingredients, which I know is a form array, so let's cast it as we did earlier too. And now we can call the remove add method and pass the index to remove a specific form control, the one at the position we want to delete. Now with that in place, we can save this. And now if we open a recipe and edit it and remove this, now you see it indeed removed the ingredient. So now we updated the recipe and therefore we only sent the French fries to the shopping list. And again, the other bug we had before is fixed. Our recipes survive. Now to clean this app up, there's one other thing I forgot to do earlier. In the recipe list component where we subscribe to our recipes changed event here, well, we should unsubscribe if the component gets destroyed. So let's implement on destroy and import this from @Angular core. And then I will add ng on destroy here. And I want to store the subscription in a property named subscription of type subscription, which needs to be imported from RxJS subscription. And then I can store it by assigning it as a value here in onInit. The subscription is assigned. And in onDestroyed, I can now unsubscribe again to make sure I don't cause any memory leaks here. So with that, with all these bug fixes we added, our app is looking great. It should work fine now. We can add new recipes here. We can edit existing ones. We can remove the ingredients there and add new ingredients if we want, of course. We can then use them and send them to the shopping list. There we can delete them. We can add new items or decide otherwise and clear the form. Our forms are working great here and use quite a lot of useful tools you may use in your next application, which are great to enhance it and to offer a great user experience. With that, let's move on to the next course section. Welcome to a new course section. This course section is about pipes. And let's start with the most important question first. What are pipes? Pipes are a feature built into Angular 2 which basically allows you to transform output in your template. This is the main purpose of a pipe. It transforms some output. Now, there are pipes for different types of output and also for synchronous and asynchronous data. We will have a look at this throughout the course. The general theme is always the same though. A basic example would be the following. You have a username. That's a property in your component. For example, here it holds a string, max. Now, you want to output that username in your template, and for this you probably use string interpolation, as you learned it throughout the course. Now that's alright, but then you decide it would be nice if the output, which is max if you do it like this, would be all uppercase, but only when you output it. So you don't want to change the property itself to uppercase, because imagine you use that throughout your code and it should still be, well, as you assigned it up there, but you want to transform the way it is displayed once you render it to the screen. Now for this, you could use a pipe, namely the uppercase pipe. This actually would be a built-in pipe, and we will have a look at the built-in pipes in a second. Now with that built-in pipe in use, you would now see max, all uppercase, being printed to the screen, because this is what this pipe does. It transforms the value. Now, that is the main purpose of pipes, transforming values. Let's dive into them a bit more. Let's view some of the built-in pipes, and then let's also build our own pipes. Let's go. I got a little example project set up here, and you can find it attached to this video. Now, the code responsible for what you saw here on the screen is basically this app component template, where I output a list of servers, and the servers are stored here in my app component TypeScript file. I got the servers array, which simply holds a couple of JavaScript objects, each representing a server. And then at the bottom here, I got a little helper class, which simply retrieves the right CSS classes which should be attached to that list group item, depending on the state of the server, if it's stable or offline. So this is the project we're starting with. It looks all right, but we got a couple of things we could fix here. Now, for example, we got a server name, which looks all right to me, but then we got this instance type here, medium, large, small, and we got this state. Now, you could, for example, put this instance type to be all uppercase, and the date, I'd like to change something about the state too. But let's start with the instance type, medium, large, small here, to see how to use pipes. And you will see it's actually pretty simple. To change it, we have to go to the template, to the HTML file, because remember, a pipe is only responsible for transforming the output. So the right place to use it, logically, is the template. Now here, I want to change this server instance type thing here. I'll just bring it into a new line here, and the same for server started, just to make it a bit easier to read. And now I would like this server instance type to be uppercase. Now that's easy to achieve. We just add the pipe symbol, hence the name, pipes, and then the name of the pipe. And as mentioned before, there are a couple of built-in pipes, and you can also build pipes on your own. We will have a look at this in one of the next lectures. Now, a good built-in pipe for making this all uppercase, of course, is the uppercase pipe you saw on the slide before. With that added, you now see, if you save this and go back to your web page, that all the instance types here have been converted to be uppercase. So without changing anything else, without, and that's important, changing the property itself, here the the instance types are still lowercase. Without changing anything here, we change the way users can view it simply by adding a pipe here. That looks pretty good to me. Now let's move on to the date. And for this, we got another pipe we could use. So if we have a look at the HTML code here, the server started output here is responsible for rendering the date. Well, if we add the pipe symbol here too, we could add the date pipe, another built-in type. And I will come back to where you find those built-in pipes in a second. Now with this added, let's save this. And now you see, out of the box, this looks much nicer. But it might not be the way you want it to look. So let's learn more about how to configure pipes in the next video.